I first began to play music when I was 9. I can remember bringing my trombone home over the summer, taking it out of its case, and buzzing out the first sorry note of my musical career. It was awful. Luckily, the next time I took out my horn, I sounded better, and the time after that, I sounded better still. While this practicing led to some success, my ego also grew to tremendous proportions, and I stopped practicing altogether on the premise that I could pass as a professional musician in 8th grade. As a result, when I attended the NIU Jazz Camp that summer, I figured everyone would love me. The situation was very different. My professional playing was described as suckalicious, and we're going to ignore you, you're so bad. I was crushed. I went home, sobbed, and decided to never touch my horn again. However, as the trauma wore off, I began to think clearly through my newly deflated head. The goal of the camp was not to humiliate me. It was to encourage me to keep going, to keep reaching higher. I began practicing again, and am now an all-state musician and one step closer to actually being a professional musician. I learned one of the most important lessons at that camp, that nothing should ever be deemed good enough. When I look out at all of you, my peers, I have no doubt in my mind that I can say that each one of you has experienced the same amount of success as I have in one way or another. And just as I did, it is very easy for us to simply put on the cruise control and assume that our past success will pave the way for even greater success in the future. Unfortunately, we need to realize that this simply isn't possible. No, you can get that six-figure salary by pointing out in the interview that, although you have no idea what you're applying for, you did finally manage to beat Sycamore in football your senior year.
Nice, Sam.
As exciting as that may be, it is not going to help on a resume 10 years from now. I'm not saying we can't enjoy what we've done. Each and every one of us has a reason to be proud of something they've accomplished over the last 4 years, but that doesn't mean it has to stop here. I've had countless adults tell me that some of their best memories of their lives are from high school. Really? Do we really want to go downhill from here? We're only a fifth of the way through our lives, for God's sake, and the remaining 4/5 are still unwritten. So instead of following in the footsteps of our elders and allowing high school to be the peak, let's use it as a springboard. Let's go our own ways, and I challenge all of you to push for something even greater. Let's make college better than high school, raising a family even better than college, and retirement the best yet. And once we do that, then we can finally write a very different history for ourselves. I'd like to now introduce Melissa Nolan.
Woo! Woo! Go, Melissa!
First half was music and stuff. We put it on your MySpace second half.
The rest is still unwritten. Let's be honest, when I first heard this was the graduation theme, I thought it was about as effective as a theme as it was an excuse for my unfinished humanities essays. Here's some of it, Mrs. Williams, but the rest is still unwritten. But when faced with the alternatives, into the ocean, yeah, that's real optimistic. I can understand why this won. But really, upon reflection, I've realized how appropriate this theme actually is. The preceding line to this catchy little ditty goes, "Today is where our book begins." And as we sit here this morning, truer words could not be said. Sure, parts of our books have already been planned out. We even have the prologue done. But as in all great biographies, the first 18 years are not really significant life achievements. Think about it. If what you've accomplished before the year 18 is the most significant highlight of your life, you're just sad. Peaking at adolescence puts you right in line with Gary Coleman, King Tut, and Britney Spears. Your life to this point is more like valuable life lessons and the foundation for real chapters to come. But now it's time for us to start writing. No one is going to write it for us. We have spent the last 18 years going through the life that others have chosen for us. Society has told us we have to go to school until we are at least 17. Our parents have chosen where we live, where we go on vacation, and what time we must be home. DeKalb High School has even dictated our lives to us, deciding the courses we must take to graduate, the books we must read, and even what we have to wear to a graduation ceremony. Well, now it's finally time for us to control our own lives. Now we can decide our classes, our major, and our job. We can be what we want to be and do what we want to do. We are in absolute control of the plot of our life book. But don't think you have to write this book alone. Perhaps your book will have several authors, all of which should be included in the works cited page. There will be people in your life that will help you. Think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in Good Will Hunting. Just don't be upset if you don't win an Oscar. These people will listen to you when you need it. They will offer advice, sometimes whether you want it or not. And most importantly, they will be there for you when no one else is. However, you cannot rely on these people to make choices for you. You are still the primary author of your life book, which I think makes you Matt Damon. Congratulations, you are on your way. But never assume you are done. Never stop working. When you have stopped working, stop trying. You cannot expect someone else to start writing for you. Your friends and loved ones cannot help you if you are unwilling to accept the help and use it to better yourself. As Ian Anderson sang, life's a long song, and you need to be in it for the long haul. Giving up will only amount to a failure. Sure, dropping that math class at semester saved your GPA, but it still amounted to nothing more than a failure. Instead of giving up, try something new. Try a different approach. You are not going to succeed at everything you attempt, but you won't succeed at anything if you don't try. So we must start trying now. Just because it's summer does not give you the right to take a summer vacation from life. For those of you going on to college, now is the time to find what interests you most. Find your major and find a job so your parents won't be paying for your education and your entertainment. For those of you foregoing college to start your adult lives immediately, good luck. I do not envy you at all, but you are braver than most of us. To us all, embrace the world and all it offers. Release your inhibitions and take a chance. Make life worth living and never regret. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. I would now like to introduce the DHS choir led by Travis Erickson.
Woo! That's us. Okay.